Hey guys, this week we're taking a deep dive into holiday cocktails, the last line of defense between our fragile emotional states and our neurotic families. Here to help me is Greg from How to Drink. Greg, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me here. What do you say we ward off some existential dread?
Sounds good to me.
Let's get down to basics.
That's my line. That's my line.
Was it?
Alright folks, so first up we are starting with eggnog, for which we will need some eggs, 8 of them to be precise, starting with their yolks, which we are going to beat in a stand mixer on high speed, slowly adding half a cup of sugar until light and ribbony, and then very slowly streaming in 2 cups of steaming milk. We want to do this slowly so we do not scramble our eggs. Then once this mixture is well combined, slightly thickened, and very foamy, we are taking things over to the stovetop, adding to the mixture a couple whole cloves, and whisking constantly over medium-low heat until we reach a temperature of about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. At this point, we're going to add 2 cups of cold heavy cream, removing from the heat and whisking thoroughly to combine. Then we are straining this bad boy through a fine mesh sieve, covering and chilling at least 4 hours, if not overnight. It's going to give those flavors plenty of time to get to know each other and give us plenty of time to beat together our 8 reserved egg whites along with 2 tablespoons of sugar added very slowly until we reach stiff peaks. Then we shall remove our nicely chilled egg yolk mixture from the fridge and add some booze. And I'm kind of just doing this by eye, maybe like half a cup each of bourbon and white rum, tasting to make sure that it's got enough to get the job done. It doesn't, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. Make sure you always under season and under booze first. You can always go forward, but you can't go backward. And now we're going to gently fold in our beaten egg whites. You can fold them in and whisk them gently. You just don't want to deflate them entirely, and you want them to remain their own creamy layer on top of your nog. Now at long last, you can ladle it into the glassware of your choice, preferably something a little wider than this. No one likes a sloppy nog. And then of course we gotta grate some fresh nutmeg over top before serving. And then you can serve it now or let it age in the fridge. Eggnog gets better and develops more complexity of flavor with time. You could also try other spirits like cognac or brandy, but if you're in the mood for gin, there's nothing quite like smoked sage punch, which I adapted from Serious Eats. First, we're going to bust out the worst vegetable peeler you can find. See? Cut your finger open just a little bit, bandage it up, and get the better one out. Then peel 1 orange and 1 lemon in their entirety. With this, we are going to make oleosaccharum. We're going to add to this 1/3 cup of sugar, toss it around a little bit, mash it down, cover, and let sit at room temperature for 24 hours. This is going to make all the essential oils and the rinds come out and play to the benefit of our eventual punch. Then we are straining the whole affair through a fine mesh sieve and smashing it down with the back of a ladle, reserving the resulting syrup and setting aside. Now we got to make some smoked sage simple syrup, which I promise is more than just a collection of S words. We're starting out with equal parts sugar and water, going with about a cup each, and then we're going to torch a whole bunch of fresh sage, extinguishing it in the mixture and bringing the whole affair to a boil. Once we've let it simmer for about 20 minutes, we're going to kill the heat, top it up, and let it sit for at least 1 hour to let those flavors get to know each other. This can then be strained and reserved for up to 1 week beforehand. Next up, we got to make about 2 cups of Lapsang tea. Do this by making 2 cups of Lapsang tea and letting it come completely to room temperature. Now, finally, it's time to start assembling our punch. We're starting with the oleosaccharum, adding our cooled, smoky Lapsang, adding our quadruple S syrup, and then once again, getting into the booze. A good place to start is about 3 cups of your preferred gin. Then to that, we're also going to add about half a cup of triple sec. Then we're getting into the fresh citrus. At this point, the punch really needs acidity, so I'm going with the juice of 4 lemons. And then both for garnish and flavor, we're going to start slicing up a whole bunch of lemons, oranges, and I think some blood oranges are going to look pretty nice. Mixing up the punch, making sure it tastes pretty good. Mine's tasting a little sweet. I think I added too much simple syrup, so I'm going to go ahead and juice 2 more lemons in there just to give this dog a little more bite. Then once we got the flavors and alcohol content where we want them, it's time to add all of our citrus slices, cutting them in half as necessary to make sure they're not going to fill up some poor bastard's whole glass. Then we are ladling it over ice and serving. Smoky, citrusy, and above all, punchy. This is a modern way to ring in the holiday season, impress some family or coworkers, and make some big mistakes at this year's office Christmas party. And now, how about we finish up with the Martin Crane classic, hot buttered rum. First, we got to make a base mixture of about 1 cup of brown sugar, tablespoon of cinnamon, 2 to 3 teaspoons of freshly grated nutmeg, and 1 whole stick of melted butter. Give this a good mix, and then it's as simple as doling it out by the heaping tablespoon into individual mugs, along with maybe a 1/4 cup of dark rum and 3/4 of a cup of boiling water. And there you have it, the perfect drink for getting sauced by the fire, maybe with a silken robe and an Irish setter and some skis made out of wood. Alright guys, so now I'm going to invite my friend Greg from How to Drink to show us some more historically interesting versions of eggnog. Greg, why don't you come on in here?
Thanks for having me over, man.
Thanks for coming.
Been a long time. All right, so I'm going to start by making Jerry Thomas's Baltimore eggnog, kind of the granddaddy of eggnog. Appears in the first cocktail guide ever. So I'm going to start with a 2-ounce pour of cognac. Ounce of rum. Jamaican style, or also known as English style rum. One of the things you may be noticing is that this is f***ing boozy. Half an ounce of Madeira rainwater wine. This is a half an ounce of simple syrup. We're gonna need a 1 whole egg. I will shake this without the milk.
I don't have to do anything. This is easy.
A little ice. Woo! Some people would make this with the milk already incorporated. I like to add the milk after. You can deproof it with milk as much as you like.
I spent hours making mine.
I'm so sorry. And if you look at anything from this time period, everything gets garnished with fresh nutmeg.
Well, I also can't imagine eggnog without fresh nutmeg, so...
There we go.
Look at that.
That is Jerry Thomas's Baltimore eggnog.
It's really good. It's definitely got a historical flavor to it.
Let me taste it to make sure it is. It is a challenging flavor. I mean, there's a big profile there.
It's very nice. I really enjoy it.
So there was a style of eggnog, also going way back in time, that was considered country bumpkin eggnog, that instead of using cognac or rum, used bourbon. So I'm using 4 Roses single barrel.
I mean, if this has bourbon in it, I already like it.
Half an ounce of cognac. It's a bit more than a half an ounce, but who's counting? So I need a half an ounce of Luxardo Maraschino. It's a cherry liqueur. So I need a half an ounce of simple. 1 whole egg.
Our Rachel Ray patented garbage bowl.
Is that a Rachel Ray technique?
That's where I learned it.
This is called the dry shake, which we've actually done a couple times, but I haven't explained it yet. When you use an egg in a cocktail, a lot of times you want to dry shake that. Shake it without ice. Shake it without ice to help it emulsify. So now that we've dry shaken this, we're going to shake it with ice.
Cool. And this is your invention.
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing off of the recipe for the Baltimore eggnog, but it's my modification. So we're gonna grate an orange over the top of this as a garnish. I like a little orange zest over there.
Cool. I mean, if you need me to take over, I got those pianist fingers.
Let me see, do you? Were you a piano player?
No.
And there it is, the way I make my eggnog when I'm making eggnog.
Yeah?
Oh, please.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's definitely my favorite one so far.
Is it? Yeah. We should make more of this. We should make 5 or 6 more, absolutely.